I am as you know, I'm an early riser. So I got wind of the tragedy out of Baltimore around 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. And I've been following it intently ever since because, again, they had the video was available right away. And I noticed watching it, I watched the lights go off on the ship, the lights go back on, and the lights go off again. And then you have this horrific incident that has occurred. Now, I've followed various different media channels right now and how they're putting the story out there. Again, it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're still trying to tell us that this is some sort of search and rescue mission. And he actually had an intelligent, no surprise, Navy SEAL being interviewed and explaining, hey, you can't breathe underwater, can't hold your breath for 5 hours. And understanding for what this actually is at this point in time. My concerns when it comes to this, and I have yet, because we're being told, okay, and that's the kind of world we live in. Narratives are created. The media doesn't like to ask difficult questions. And this is what gets us into problems. This is what ends up shutting the government down when it comes to the country down, when it comes to COVID, is nobody's willing to ask difficult questions until it's way too late. First thing that popped into my head after watching the lights go on, lights go off, and following this a little bit more, was whether or not, obviously, is this some sort of terror attack? Now, we're being told that no, it's not a terror attack. Not by any stretch of the imagination is this a terror attack. Now, I'm not saying, people think that, so you get some rogue pilot, crashing the ship into the bridge. No, I'm not saying that that's the case. My question, the first question I would ask if I was a journalist, probably get fired after the fact, is whether or not this ship has any automation on it. Because that's a direction that the industry wants to head. If you go online, they talk about this technology and the future of cargo shipping and automation and being able to control these ships from a satellite somewhere onshore, being able to handle all of this. Well, what does that open up the doors to? When you have an open system, any system that's open is vulnerable. Any system out there is vulnerable to a hack. I don't know whether or not this ship has automation. It's interesting that another story popped up saying, this ship was involved in an accident in Antwerp back in 2016. It bumped into a wall back in 2016. Okay, this is, again, you're throwing this in there, and quite frankly, I don't think it has anything to do with what just happened. This is the danger of having open systems. I'm asking a question here that nobody is asking in the mainstream media. Is there automation involved? Could this ship, could it have been hacked? Could it have been hacked in some way, shape, matter, or form to shut the power down? You shut the power off and you can no longer control this ship. If you take a look at, just try to fathom, okay, the amount of weight moving in a water. You can't slow this thing down. You can't. You're talking about was somebody estimated it was like an hour, mile and a half to 2 miles to actually get this thing to come to some sort of stop. Almost 5 miles to turn the thing around. All you need to do is to mess around and get a hack in there and mess up the power, and you can cause problems. And again, I don't think people fully recognize how big this problem is with hacking. And again, I went back to the the archives, WatchDog and Wall Street archives going back to the winter of 2021. And again, still all COVID all the time for the most part in 2021 at this point. And one of the more frightening stories out there, it did make the news, but not the front pages. Not the front pages. We covered it on our show, the fact that in Oldsmar, Florida, a hacker got in to the water treatment system. It was in late January, early February 2021 through a dormant software system called TeamViewer. That software hadn't been used in about 6 months, but was still on the system. Someone got in. Now, what happened was the hacker adjusted the level of sodium hydroxide, which is lye, to 100 times its normal levels. Again, looking to poison the water. Now, to this day, this story kind of went away. We never found the hacker or hackers. But again, an incident like this would show how, again, this was an infrastructure system and how they are vulnerable to hacking because they are online. Now, I talk about, we talk about national security and whatnot. To me, certain systems, I know everybody wants to be efficient and it's online and all this stuff. If someone has outside access, if there's a way that they can get onto a system, they could screw it up. Again, the unanswered question at this point in time when it comes to this ship, and maybe we'll get a reporter out there that starts digging to some degree. And if you want to go look yourself, you can take a look at some of the automation systems that they have for ships that are currently in use. Each and every one of them is vulnerable. They can be hacked. You can get in there. Now, if there was, I don't know. Again, I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying that this is the case, but without a doubt, this is something that we have to think about when it comes to national security. And I'm a big believer that you need to have closed systems. You can't get in from the outside. If you want to have an intranet within a certain facility, that's fine. But as soon as you put it online and there's access in, well, again, bad things can happen. Again, it's, early in the investigation. I don't know if they'd even let us know. I know that the FBI is there looking into it, but we're told that this is no act of terror whatsoever. But again, I find it highly curious. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.